want to do today is talk a little bit about some of these common chronic killing diseases, especially the one that I'm particularly interested in, which is cardiovascular disease, commonly known as heart attacks. And I don't know when I'll get a chance to explain today how it is that, as a general surgeon, I got interested in nutrition. But maybe we can squeeze that in somewhere along the line. The truth be known, the leading killer of women and men in Western civilization, coronary artery heart disease, is nothing more than a toothless paper tiger that need never ever exist. And if it does exist, it need never ever progress. This is a food-borne illness, not your genes, not your stress. It's not just the luck of the draw. This is a food-borne illness. Now, just to get everybody on the same page, we'll kind of do a little warm-up here and look, at some of those nations on the planet today where if you were a cardiac surgeon and you decided you'd hang out your shingle in the Papua Highlands or rural China, Central Africa, or the Tarahumara Indians in northern Mexico, forget it! You better plan on selling pencils. You're not going to have any work. They don't have any cardiovascular disease there. Why? Because by culture, heritage, and tradition, these cultures are plant-based. On the other hand, I spent a year as a combat surgeon in Vietnam, 1967, 1968. What we had is a very interesting study that goes back to the 1950s and 60s, where if you autopsy our young soldiers who have died in combat in Vietnam and Korea, and you look carefully at their coronary arteries, 80% of these average age 20-year-olds will already have gross evidence of coronary disease that you can see without a microscope. All right. You say, well, that's due to the stress of the military. No, it doesn't hold up. Because if you do the autopsies of the Koreans and the Vietnamese, it's not 80%. It's 1 to 3%. So that study was then repeated 45 years later, in 1999, this time looking at young women and men between the ages of 17 and 34, who in this country have died of accidents, homicides, and suicides. And now, coronary artery disease is ubiquitous. Everybody has it. So when you graduate from high school today, in the good old USA, as I said recently when I was speaking at the Kentucky legislature in November, you not only get a diploma when you graduate from high school, but you also get the foundation for coronary artery heart disease. And what's going on? So what I want to share with you today is a couple of, actually 3 of our natural defense mechanisms that ordinarily are not treated presently by cardiovascular medicine, but we think are terribly important. This is the study of those young people who died of accidents, homicides, and suicides. On the other hand, here in 4 years ago, 2008, when I was in Los Angeles, I was moderating a panel, and one of the panel members was Dr. Lewis Culler. Lou Culler is a professor of public health at the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine. And on that day, on that panel, Lou Culler, as a result of his 10-year cardiovascular health study, made the following statement. He said, all males who are 65 and all females who are 70 who have been exposed to the traditional Western diet have cardiovascular disease and should be treated as such. The plaque inside your artery is what? It is an inflammatory cauldron. It's an inflammatory cauldron of what we call oxidative species. So what do we want to get rid of it? Antioxidants. Do we want you to go down to the health food store and buy a jug of antioxidant pills? No. Not only does that not work, but it can be dangerous. The body, through evolution, knows exactly how to extract the food, the nutrients that you need from food. All right, so I'm on antioxidants. They are in the green leafy vegetables. So if I have a patient who has chest pain, angina, has had several stents, and so forth, we know they're loaded with plaque, how do we turn down the thermostat, get rid of the plaque? One of the ways is, of course, to get rid of the food that's injuring the endothelial cells, which we just mentioned, the oil, the dairy, meat, fish, and fowl. But I'm greedy. The reason that we succeed where others may fail is I'm a taskmaster. Not as mean as I look, but, and when you're a rascal about this, I want these people to have antioxidants 5 and 6 times a day. I want green leafy vegetable alongside your old meal. I want a mid-morning snack, green leafy vegetable.
And if I had to make a second choice, I would be dumbfounded. Perhaps the potatoes, although they were done in oil. So, let me give you some other ideas. My husband wrote the book, Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease, which he has directed very specifically at heart disease. And he goes, I mean, it is the attention to detail that makes the huge difference. And when people follow this, it's not just heart disease, it's type 2 diabetes. It's just, there's so many things that change. Weight falls off and you don't even feel you're trying to lose weight. And it is no oil, no meat, no dairy. And for my husband's patients, no nuts, no avocado. But you know what? The whole world of food out there is just fabulous. Now, my husband's book, Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease, is the one that I want to talk to you about. But when our son Rip, and many of you may have seen this book, The Engine 2 Diet, we wanted to make a distinction between the two, and he calls his program Plant Strong. And he dubbed my husband's program Plant Perfect. So that's what I'm going to talk about. This is a little looser, nuts and avocados, just a little looser, more soy a little bit. So, to be plant perfect, there are 8 things that I want to talk about. And maybe first of all, when you change, there is just, you can't find a meat that equals meat, and you can't find a cheese that equals cheese. You go out there and look at the vegan cheeses. It is all fat. It is all fat. You are not ahead. You look out there at the, so to speak, vegan meats. It is fat and processed soy. You're just eating junk food. So decide that's not going to be a part of what you're eating. And strive forward. So, first, and I'm going to go through my 8 things, and I don't have much time, so I'll just sort of concentrate on a few. You're going to have no oil. I'm going to talk about that. You're going to eat so many leafy greens and all the wonderful vegetables, and I'm going to talk about that. You are going to eat oats, O-A-T-S, for breakfast. Always, some way. There are 3 fabulous things about oats. They help lower your cholesterol. They decrease inflammation. And the more you eat, they are dose responsive. The more you eat, the better off you are. That's 3. 4th, I want you to eat whole grains. W-H-O-L-E is in front of wheat, in front of whole grains. If you're trying to lose weight, don't eat flour. Don't eat bread. Just eat the whole grain. Eat the rice, the quinoa. Eat those things. So you're going to eat whole grains. You're going to eat all the beans and lentils you can possibly eat. You are going to limit as much as possible sugar and salt in your diet. And let me just quickly say, sugar is so addicting, but once you stop it, you can handle it. It's that if you go back on it, then you have to start all over again. But here's a great trick about no sugar. Freeze grapes. And when you're dying for something sweet, there is nothing sweeter than a frozen grape. You won't believe it. It's great. And you can do the same thing with pineapple and cherries and other little fruits.